And welcome to Hunts on Outfitting Podcast, the only podcast brought to you by Hunts on Outfitting. Quality stories with average people. Sometimes quality people and average stories. But it's like a teeter-totter, goes back and forth. If you guys like what you see and hear, like and subscribe. If you don't, show other people so they can see, and maybe they will like it and they won't. But either way, we're getting more views and listens, so I don't really care. This week on the podcast, we've got Brody. Say hi, Brody. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there you go.
Yep.
Nice. Lane.
Hi.
From Eastern Woods and Waters. You guys have Facebook and Instagram and a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Slowly growing the YouTube.
With all your hunts and everything.
Yeah.
Slowly
guys
growing
do-
everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, and upwards and outwards, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You guys do waterfowl. You do deer, bear, moose,
Yeah.
coyotes.
We try.
Yeah,
try.
a little bit of everything.
You know, if it's brown, it's down. If it flies, it dies, kind of thing.
Yeah, we try.
Going after that. So this week, we're talking to you guys about. You guys got a bear story, a bear hunt for us.
Brody's bear.
Brody's bear hunt.
Yeah.
First
Yeah.
bear, Brody.
That was my first bear.
First bear.
Very first.
Yeah.
First big game animal.
No,
No. Okay.
Yeah.
You got a deer.
I had a deer before that.
just the one, right?
Just one
Yeah. Okay.
at that time.
No, was this the year before?
Would have been 2 years before.
2 seasons ago.
Okay, so you're itching. And this was in October?
Yeah, first week or two into the season
Of bear season.
of
Deer season.
deer season.
No, it wasn't. Couldn't have been.
It was bow season.
There wasn't any deer hunters in the field, so
It was bow season. Sorry.
of bow season. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think it was like the 10th or the 12th of October, but
And then, so this was supposed to be Lane's hunt.
supposed. Well,
Well, it was Lane's hunt.
It was Lane's
yeah,
hunt.
it just
Yeah.
You brought a gun for backup.
kinda.
You've seen Lane shoot before.
Yeah, I need all.
Brody
the
wasn't
help I
taking
can
any
get.
chances.
Yeah.
So tell them how it started.
Yeah, well, set the
It's
scene
your
for us,
story.
Lane. Set the
Okay,
scene.
well-
Was it
Just in it.
daytime, nighttime?
Started out
Remember, you're under oath here.
middle of the afternoon. I was off work.
'Kay.
Because you'll hear in a different story. Broke my arm on a moose hunt, so I was off work for the all hunting season.
I intruded on that hunt too, didn't I?
You intruded on the moose hunt because you picked me up in the ambulance.
Safe hunt. Brody is ambulance worker, paramedic by
Paramedic.
day. Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say driver. You do that.
Anyway,
too, right?
I do a
so
little bit.
I couldn't bow hunt because I had a cast.
Mhm.
So I was spending all bow season just running cameras, running baits, just trying to find a deer. And I was out for probably 4 or 5 hours in the afternoon.
You're telling me your cameras were running?
Yes.
Were they hard to catch?
Very funny.
You got to do your little laugh sound effect if you want
Yeah,
somebody to laugh
yeah.
on that one.
Very funny. Anyway, I was out checking some spots, and I knew of there was a couple cornfields that have just been cut. So I'm like, well, I've had some history with bears hitting cornfields when they're cut in the past. So I stopped in a home and just threw the rifle in the truck. Said, well, I might see a bear, worth a shot.
Was it your trigger arm that was broken?
No,
Finger?
I had to use
That's fine.
I had to use a bipod because I couldn't hold the stock of my gun.
Okay.
Which probably shouldn't have been using a 7mm with one hand.
Right.
Because every time I fired it, it hit me in the head.
And for those of you not watching this, Lane is a small guy,
Yes.
and he shouldn't be hitting the head much if you know him on a personal level.
Anyway, so I went out, checked a couple fields. I think before that I saw a doe and a spike horn in one of the fields. And so I went up right before dark. I probably had an hour before dark. I wanted to go check cornfield because I was there the night before, and there was a coyote in the field. But before it ran off as I was pulling up into the field with the truck.
Mhm.
Well, maybe it might be back. Can't hurt to try. So I sat there in the truck for 5-10 minutes. And then on the other side of the field, about 600 yards away, bear stepped out. Didn't get a good look at it. But I'm like, well, if I want to shoot, I got to get closer than 600 yards anyway.
Mhm.
So I grabbed the
And
gun.
you're shooting 7mm mag. That's what you had that night.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, all right. With the bipod and all that.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, so I started creeping down the field, just slowly watching, and a different bear stepped out in front of me. And I put the bipod up, was laying on my stomach, thought I was a lot farther than I was, and I squeezed off right over top of his back.
For sure.
100%. I could see the bullet hitting in the trees behind him.
Didn't even take fur.
No, I was like a solid 10 inches over top of his back.
So you really misjudged the distance.
Oh, 100%. Because I went back after and grabbed my rangefinder, and I was thinking I was 500.
So you had your rangefinder with you.
It was in the truck.
Okay. And it wasn't needed.
This was a very, very spontaneous.
This
hunt.
was
Yeah.
sporadic as could be. And what I thought was like 450 to 500 yard shot
was
300.
Yeah, you're off.
So
Yeah.
I was aiming for a 450 to 500 yard shot.
You thought it was going to drop more.
I thought it was going
It's
to
a heavy bullet.
But
But it didn't because you're way off.
even if with my 7mm I run light tips for less drop, I'm only shooting 154 grains.
Right.
But that's a lot of powder.
That's normally what, 180?
But I want the distance because 180 they really drop at distances.
Right.
Anyway, so I went out and ran in the woods. I knew I missed it.
You didn't run after it?
And anyway, I come back out and I lined up again, shot, thought I hit it, so I just left. I walked away.
Oh, you did you thought you hit it.
The second shot, I thought I hit it.
Oh, the second. Okay.
Second shot, I thought I hit it. I didn't know how good of a shot, but I don't know if it was when he started running. It looked like he hunched up, like he was hit.
Yep.
I don't know if that was from the shot or him running, but I thought I hit it. So
or laughing
or laughing. So I laughed. I walked
at the
out,
miss.
and as I was walking out back to the truck to give him time, 2 more bears stepped out on the other side of the field.
Mhm.
It's like, wow, there's a lot of bears around here. So I called Brody. I didn't know if he was working, so I'm like, "Are you home?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "If you want to kill a bear, get up here."
So,
I was
Brody,
cooking. I was cooking supper
okay.
when I got the call.
Just threw the pots, pans, charged
Yeah.
out there.
Essentially, because he made no time getting there.
I told the old lady, I was like, "Well, Lane said there's a lot of bears. And
You know how to cook
I
for
gotta
your
go.
boots, right?
Yeah, you got to finish the craft dinner here."
Hunt's on. You
And-
know,
Yeah.
when the
I was-
hunt's on, the hunt's
yeah.
on.
And I was standing in the field on the phone with him. He's like, "Well, there's not going to be any bears
You're
there."
out there talking on the phone in the middle of the field,
Middle of the field, on speakerphone.
not worried about the bears.
Not worried. I'm like, "Oh,
Right.
I already shot, whatever."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you already shot twice. There's not going to be any bears around." I'm like, "Yeah." As I was on the phone with him, there was bears coming out in the field. Like, they clearly don't care. So I went up, walked to the truck. By the time I got to the truck, he was pretty well there anyway.
Probably took me like 10 minutes to get there.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and you were camo on? No camo?
I had camo over top of my blue shirt.
Okay. Guns loaded, ready to
Oh,
go.
I didn't even have
the gun.
flying out there.
I didn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
have
yeah.
camo
Yeah.
on. I think I was wearing jeans and a blue sweater
Yeah, we were both in jeans, I think.
with. I didn't plan on going on a hunt, but I just had an orange vest over top. And yeah, we were not prepared for that hunt
It was
at all.
spontaneous.
Very spontaneous.
Was the miss spontaneous, or
No,
is that, kind
was
of power on
that was
No,
not
that was
course for
planned.
you?
You
not,
planned
yeah.
that.
Not really.
No, you didn't because you ran out of bullets.
No, I didn't. I had one left.
Did you?
Yeah, because remember we tried to put another stock on at the end,
Oh, yes, that's right.
and
You didn't learn to shoot in those 20 minutes?
Or did you bring your rangefinder?
no, I didn't. I didn't. I decided.
We had the
not to shoot.
rangefinder.
I did not decide not to shoot the second time, but
So you learned part of it.
anyway, we were walking down, and I was kind of. The thought was in the back of my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna sound like a liar if he gets here and there's no bears to show up, because I was hyping this hunt up. I'm like, it's just. I said it's mayhem. You got to get down here.
But you were in the field talking on speakerphone, and you'd fired 2 shots?
Yeah.
It's a big field, though.
Oh,
Okay,
the
yeah, right,
field's
right.
How
like.
big's this field? A kilometer long? That's crazy.
I think it's 1.2 kilometers long.
Yeah.
It is a giant field, isn't it, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're walking down the field. We're getting
And it's all corn.
all cut corn.
Okay.
And we're getting down to
It was cut, 2 days before?
2 or 3 days before.
So it's fresh, eh?
And there was a lot of bear damage in the fields when they were cutting it.
Yep.
That's how I knew there might be a lot of bears around. And we were walking through the field and getting a little thinking like, no bears here. He's gonna think I'm a liar, because I told him at that point I saw like 6 or 7 bears.
And meanwhile, Brody's like, I'm shooting at something.
Yeah.
So
All right, that
And
was
he
game
figured his
plan.
odds with a gunfight with you were pretty good. Like, well, I
That's
shot
true.
twice, I hadn't hit
Yeah.
anything. So
And we did. The first ones we seen, they were way at the back. I think we seen that was that sow and last year's cub that come out.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, can't really go after them.
Didn't really want to.
So we were just same thing, just slowly walking down through the cornfield, kind of keeping an eye out on the edges.
Just glassing.
And then we were on a kind of a knoll. We're like, well, we're gonna sit here till we see something come out, because we know when they come out, they're just going to grab corn cobs, and then they walk back in the woods. And we figure when they go back in the woods to eat, that's our time
To get set up.
to get set up and stalk in and closer.
And you guys were upwind from them.
Oh, wind was dead center right in our faces, so we were perfect. And we seen
Till Brody farted in front of you on that stalk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first time we saw the bear that you ended up shooting, he was probably 500-600 yards away.
Probably.
So we're like, well, we watched him come in and out a couple times. We're like, well, it's definitely not a sow with cubs.
Yep.
But a couple of the other ones were questionable. So we're like, well, this one's been in and out 3 or 4 times. There's definitely not cubs with it. Because at that distance, it's pretty hard to identify a sow and a boar at 600 yards.
And it wasn't a huge bear. We could tell it wasn't a huge bear.
Yeah.
There were some bigger bears there.
Yeah, he just wanted...
How many bears do you think we saw that night? Between 8 and 12, probably different bears. Hard to tell.
Confirmed 8. But
Yeah.
I think it was
And
upwards towards 12.
And none of them were like spring cubs.
No, there was no...
Everything was a decent size.
There was
Everything was
no
They were ready
that
for
year
winter.
cubs. There was a couple yearlings from the year before that was still on the mother, which technically is still legal to shoot the sow in that situation.
Right.
But we're not that hard up to shoot a bear that we want to shoot a sow with their yearling. So after we confirmed the one that Brody ended up shooting.
Restraint. I mean, Lane wasn't going to shoot anything.
Especially when you have 12 bears to pick from.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You can hold off.
Yeah. So we end up confirming that was the one we were gonna hone in on, and he stepped out.
Well, really, what happened was, it was the most convenient bear for us.
Oh, it was closest.
It was closest one.
Closest one and the most consistent,
Yeah.
because there were some that would come out, and then they'd go in the woods, and then come out down the field like 100 yards away.
There's just bears everywhere. There's that many.
It was
in
nuts.
this field.
I don't think from the time we saw the first one, I don't think there was a second that there wasn't a bear in the field.
And there's 8 confirmed different
8 bears. But we think there was 12.
Well, what they were doing, and the bears were probably 80, 90 yards apart from each other where they were coming in and out of the field. But what they were doing was they were coming out, picking corn, what was it left on the ground, and getting a mouthful and going back into the woods to eat it. And then they'd be gone for 10 or 15 minutes, and then they'd come back out for about 5 or 6 minutes, and then back out.
Any fighting going on?
No, there was none
Pretty
together.
still.
They were pretty focused
Oh, yeah.
and spread apart.
Yeah.
A field that's over a kilometer long, you could spread out.
Yeah, I
They had their
suppose,
space.
yeah.
And
They get territorial and stuff, though, right? But
I'm sure anybody knows where we're at, but the woods in New Brunswick are pretty thick, so they can just walk 20 yards in the woods and nobody can
They're
see
going.
them. So
Yeah.
they've got their space.
Yeah.
They know the area, so
Yeah.
they felt pretty comfortable doing that. The bears didn't really seem to interact with each other at all, actually. To be honest, I don't even know why that one that I shot came towards us. No rhyme or reason to it.
I don't understand that one.
But
and when he come out,
yeah, so we haven't got to the shot yet.
no,
So
he
we're
come out.
leading up to that.
I
Right,
think he was like, wow, we figured 350, 400 yards straight in front of us along a trail.
Mhm.
There was like in front of us there was a gully.
Yep.
And a trail, the cart path for the tractors ran up alongside the field.
Okay.
And wind's perfect in our favor. Couldn't see us, won't smell us. And he started walking down the trail right towards us. This is perfect. He's closing the distance, so we don't have to.
We'll meet him halfway.
Well, we weren't even moving. He had the bipod set up, and he was ready. I had the rangefinder, and I kept clicking it. He was getting closer and closer. I'm like, just told us, take your time. I said, he's coming.
Yep.
I said, closer the better. And at that, where we were on a knoll, and it was a big gully, and he was like eye level straight across from us. So,
Before the gully?
no, he was on the other
He was
side.
on
he's
the other
okay.
side.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were on opposite sides of the gully.
Yeah.
So it was hard to judge a distance with the naked eye,
Mhm.
because it could be 300, it could have been 400, because that gully makes it hard to judge.
And your distance judging was already kind of
Clearly, yes.
For him,
on
yeah.
the fritz.
And then,
Thankfully,
So I-
at this time, we had the rangefinder.
So he asked,
Yeah.
he's like, he was already looking through the scope. And I have my binoculars up, and I grabbed the rangefinder. Bro, he's like, how far is he? I said, I'm bouncing back between 220 and 200.
Yep.
And I no sooner said 200 yards. Gun goes off.
Just
was
crack.
not expecting him to fire that
Brody, you were
quick.
set up.
Oh, he was
had
ready.
You had the scope on it. You were just waiting for the range.
I was on him, and he was coming towards us, and he was slightly quartering towards us.
And you knew what your gun was.
My gun sighted in for 200 yards, so when I heard 200 yards,
You were
I figured it was time to let it off. But
hold it. dead
I didn't
center.
know if it got down through the gully where it was going to come out,
Yeah.
or if it was going to be gone. And then I didn't really want a bear behind us as we were moving up through the field, so I figured that'd be the one.
Now, when
I hadn't shot a bear before, so that was pretty.
were other ones out when you shot? There's still other bears.
There were
kinda
still
coming
other
in there?
bears coming in and out,
Yeah.
and
But
even
we weren't-
after we
e-
shot
even
this
after-
bear,
Yeah, we
There
weren't
were
really
still bears.
There's
focusing.
still there's.
Yeah.
When
Yes,
he
sir.
was coming up towards us, we were pretty honed in on him.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't really know what else was around. But when he shot, it sounded like just a baseball bat against the wall. Just I heard the crack. I'm like, oh, he smoked
He's
him.
hit. So he didn't drop, or he did.
Nope, he ran right.
He ran,
He ran
okay,
off in
yeah.
the woods. I'm like, and on that path, it's all mud. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, you could see his paw prints when he took off running.
Do you guys see any blood in there?
Not right away,
No.
but
None.
bears don't bleed right away.
No, that's true. They don't. They're like
And the-
boar.
yeah,
right?
because their
Wild
hair is
boar.
so thick,
Clogs it up.
it takes a lot of blood
Yeah.
to finally start dripping. And as soon as he
It's a
shot,
big gun though,
oh yeah, and he
but it
and
took
he-
it took some lead, eh?
Yeah. and I was shooting 205 grain.
Really?
Yeah,
a lot of bullet.
That's
that's a
big.
good bullet.
Yeah.
And then, when you shot, 2 more bears to our left ran out into the field.
Yeah, there was still bears.
Away from you or
Towards us.
Towards you.
Yeah.
The bears ran towards you.
They ran out of the woods into the field towards us.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is.
Then what? They saw you and
No,
Put the
I don't think
brakes
they
on,
ever
or-
saw us. It was too
It
far.
was last light.
okay.
You wouldn't have
Oh
been
yeah.
able to-
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
And then we went up, and then we could see where the bear tore up the dirt
Yep.
when he got shot. And we're like, okay, well, that's where he ran in. We'll just give him time. We're not in a rush.
Yep.
And then we ended up just going down the field and putting a stock on other bears
I'll just
just for fun.
you had another
And then-
tag and stuff. Figured you
And
get
then
that
he's
one
like, he asked me, he's like, do you want to shoot another one? I'm like, well, I'm not 100% sure on the one that I shot at. I'm like, no. I said, I'm not going to shoot another one. And
But
just,
we got pretty close.
we got within,
We got close to that sow for sure.
that's, we were within 50 yards.
So the opportunity was there to get.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
there.
and keep in mind, we're standing in the middle
Middle of a
of
cornfield.
a cut cornfield.
Yeah.
It's us in the
See,
mud.
usually when people are hunting the blackberry, thick
It's
woods,
better, yeah.
bait pile.
You're worried
you're
about
sitting
scent,
there.
not cooking.
Yeah, you're worried about
yeah.
scent, but you're sitting there waiting, just
Yeah.
waiting for bears to come in. You got, you've been baiting that area
Yeah.
for weeks, months, donuts, hot dogs, probably not
Everything.
hot dogs, but everything,
Well,
and you,
probably
you,
hot
got,
dogs.
you guys
Yeah.
are just classic spot and stock
Yep.
kind of hunting
And I'm glad that Brody was there to witness because
because no one would believe you.
no one would
They believe that
me.
you missed.
Oh,
but after that,
absolutely.
the rest of it becomes.
But how many stories have you heard
of
a
you
guy
missing
being
a lot?
buying a guy in a field seeing 12 bears at once?
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Yeah. Especially when
It was pretty unique. I've gone back to that field after they've cut the corn since.
it's never
and
been
the-
Yeah,
the
I haven't,
same.
you
Never
haven't
been
seen
like
it.
that.
No.
I think they've also changed the corn and haven't had as much bear
Yeah, they got a
damage too.
different type
But
of corn that bears aren't
Oh
supposed to.
yeah.
They're not supposed to like, but
Yep.
Yeah, to tell someone that you were firing shots off and bears are running out of the woods towards you.
Yeah, you guys were just surrounded by them. You had your pick of what
Oh,
bear you wanted to take.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we had
Yeah.
more time, because we were cutting it close on daylight.
Yeah.
And we definitely could have easily got closer to more if we had.
If you guys had some more people with you with tags,
And then
or-
we
or
actually,
yeah.
filled no problem.
and we actually ended up. We went back again the next night.
Yep.
With a couple other guys, and then we just hit it right at the right night. Because the next night, not a single bear.
Nothing.
that was crazy.
There was a.
I mean, we made quite a racket
The first night, yeah.
once we
yeah,
did the
yeah.
recovery on my bear,
Yeah.
Because then
So-
it was dark by the time.
and we went over through the woods to look for yours after too that you missed.
yeah.
So
when we went back,
we stirred it up
we
pretty
went
good.
to the truck, waited for a couple other guys. We hadn't we were not prepared. We had no flashlights, nothing. I'm like, it's pretty
You
thick.
guys have rope. anything?
Nothing.
Nothing.
We had nothing. We were.
Nothing.
This was the most
Just guns
spontaneous hunt we could ever have.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. It was thick woods where the bear Brody shot went. I'm like, I'm not walking through that with a flashlight on my phone.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
In the no.
Sure.
So we went out, got lights, got all prepared.
If it was deer, you'd contemplate it, but bear, you know,
Yeah,
it's the teeth
Absolutely.
and the
You
claws
know,
just
I don't
kinda-
want to be face to face with a wounded bear and just an iPhone.
All right. No, that's fair enough.
So we went out to my place, grabbed some lights. I think it was just
There's 3 of us. You got Kathy to come.
yeah,
with
me,
you,
you, and Catherine come out.
And Catherine is.
My girlfriend,
fiance.
Plus, she was your fiance.
fiance, whatever.
At the time, probably girlfriend.
Yeah,
Either
at
way.
at the time. Anyway, so
His caregiver.
right off the get go, no blood, but I knew he hit it.
Yeah.
And
I've
I've been
been
on-
the crack.
We
I've-
saw the prints where he ran into.
and
the
I've been on
woods.
enough what you call bear blood trails. They don't bleed, even with cut wide open with a broadhead. They don't bleed. Their hair just absorbs it. They really got to
They
be.
can take a
fat
hit.
seals
They
it
can
up.
take a hit.
They really got to be opened up to have a good blood trail. And then if it's that big,
They're thick. The hide on them's really thick, and their fur is too.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
and Brody's never been on a blood trail before this.
So
was
the
my
deer
first
that you
time.
got dropped.
The deer that I got. Actually, I did follow that blood trail for about 20 yards.
But it
In
was
the
in
snow.
it
Alright,
was
so
in the
he'd
snow.
been-
In the snow,
Oh, okay.
and
yeah,
there
yeah.
and it was a good trail. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. That doesn't count. I guess.
So-
That's pretty easy.
We're like, well, he went in here. I started going in. I was just kind of following the beaten path.
Yeah.
And waiting for blood to open up. And nothing.
Nothing at all.
and it's thick.
Oh, it's,
Green, nice green stuff.
oh yeah,
Foliage
Yeah,
kind of thing.
like-
yeah.
thorn bushes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And so we walked in. I'm like, there's no blood. We're just, at that point, I knew the bear was going to be dead.
Yep.
We gave him enough time. He was hit. All we could do was just grid search. It's just going to be stumbling on him.
Mhm.
So Catherine and I are just grid searching like 10 yards apart with flashlights. So,
Were you at this point, Brody?
no,
I
I had no idea where he was.
I was off. I was off somewhere.
Okay, all right.
And I just
Looking
like, well,
somewhere.
he,
But I didn't know that the grid search had started. So.
yeah, he just,
okay.
he
But
just
there was
went
more.
off.
There was more people on the way too. So.
Okay,
And
yeah.
Catherine and I were just spaced out enough that you could
Spaced out,
see,
like,
you could see in
mentally or like physically going
Probably
in.
both.
both.
Yeah.
And that way you could see with the lights between us if we did stumble upon him.
Yeah.
And
You see someone's light just flashing and go down. Like, okay, the bear's
and
not dead.
we were walking,
found him.
and all of a sudden, I could hear Brody yelling.
How long do you think it took
Did he
before
yell
I found the bear?
Bear.
20 minutes?
Did he yell run?
I couldn't. He was so far away. I couldn't understand what he said, but because I was walking,
They were
through,
so far away they could hear me yelling, but they couldn't see my light through the
So,
woods.
Lane, you guys were looking in the completely wrong spot.
yeah,
They
So
were.
you were spaced
I knew
out.
exactly
You were
where it
spaced out
was.
mentally.
I
then.
was going
Yeah.
grid searching
They went
side
the
to
wrong
side
area.
along the hill.
What he was doing made sense. What I was doing is somebody who's never trailed an animal
And-
before.
but you're the one
so-
that found
but
it.
it worked because we
And
were
I
grid
found
ser-
it, yeah.
we were
Right.
grid searching
So was it
the
shit
hill
luck or
from
just
top to
like,
bottom,
maybe
going
this is the way
down
that
the
you do it?
hill.
My
Oh, you
thought
just
pro-
stumbled. You just
my
stumbled
thought.
upon it.
No, I knew what I was doing because
'Cause
not
you found
really.
it.
I didn't
No,
know what I
you
was doing.
stumbled-
But
you
but
stumbled
my
on
thought
that
process worked because as I was beating down through the woods,
Yeah.
I just took a straight path in and got all turned around because you're trying to go through thick woods and
Yeah.
as you do. So, anyways, I got down to the bottom and there was a old logging trail down there.
Yep.
And I thought I knew I went right to where the bear would have run in. So I thought, well,
If you're
There-
thinking if I was a bear,
if I was
this
an
is where
animal,
I'd go.
I would follow this
Yeah.
trail rather than walk through these woods.
Okay, yeah.
So, anyways, I followed the trail and
Especially if I've been shot.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
Path least
Well, the-
resistance, right?
I know they always say like they try to get to water. So what's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fastest
yeah, I
track to
found that,
water
yeah.
is get on a
Downhill
trail.
water.
I found bears
And it
that
was
have gone down
it was
a hill
a beaten down
to a
path.
brook.
So
Yeah.
it was a beaten down path. It was a game trail. So,
And
Yeah,
that's
he
when
was
it-
laying
and
right
it
on the
took
trail.
that.
Yeah.
And Spacey here was doing the grid thing.
Yeah,
in
well,
the wrong
Because
area.
we were walking
it
through
still
the
took
woods.
you 10 minutes to get to me after you knew where I was.
we were
and
walking
figured out
through,
what
and
I
I
was
could
doing.
hear him
Really?
yell.
He's that far away, eh?
Oh,
Yeah.
we
He's
were
a slow
probably
walker.
walking
How far did he go? 90 yards, probably.
90 yards
From the hit?
Through the woods.
Through the
thick
woods.
Yeah.
But I think
Huh.
because I think I was about 100 yards away when you yelled, but we were walking through all the thick stuff, so I could just hear his yell, but I couldn't
And he was dead when he found him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Lane, at any point were you worried that he was yelling because he found him and he wasn't quite dead?
No, actually,
he was calling for backup.
I just thought he didn't know where we were, and he was just yelling so I could
Well,
yell.
you probably
wow,
thought I was
okay.
messing with you too.
Yeah, and then he's like,
'Cause
then we
I
stopped.
would have, yeah. I
we
would've
stopped,
done
and I yelled back. And he's like, I got him. What? It took no time for him.
that. Like, you were, Brody, like, I got him by the throat, like, get in here quick.
Like, when we started the blood
got me in
trail,
a bear
you were
hug.
4 or 5 minutes, and you found him.
From the time I started.
To the time we left the field, blood trail.
Oh no, it would have probably been
grid
20
search?
minutes.
No.
Grid searching.
What time we separated?
By the time maybe we actually separated.
Yeah,
but
because you weren't gone very long. I was actually kind of impressed that he got that far from me.
it was pretty good.
Why were you impressed, Lane?
Covering some ground.
Well, you
I
were
don't-
looking for
I
a
don't mess
bear,
around.
right?
It was
Yeah,
pretty
your
warm
first
night,
bear.
too. I
It-
wanted to
it
get
was
it.
warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, he stumbled right on top of him.
Almost
Yep.
literally. Did it scare you? Because it's dark out, dark bear, thick.
No, I saw it.
You saw him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he wasn't actually in the thick woods. He was right on the trail.
He was still on the trail.
Yeah.
He never even made it off.
And I don't know if
Now,
he had followed
was
the
there
trail at
water
all.
further down? Do you know?
There's
Did
a
you
brook
look?
down
There
through
was,
there,
eh?
yeah.
So he really was
Probably,
going
what,
right
100
towards water.
yards in front of him. The brook.
I don't know which way he was going to take.
Yeah.
If he's going to take that trail, he probably would have had to go like 150 yards,
Oh, yeah.
and it would have brought him right to the brook.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So he really was going right for
He
it.
was, I mean, that was the only way he could run too.
He was just
Oh,
going.
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if he was
If he'd
going
have ran
towards
the other
water.
way when I shot him, he would have been out in the middle of the field, which would have been
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have trouble getting him out?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
It was all
That's it.
uphill.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All uphill.
What, did you just drag? You couldn't get the bike in there or what?
No, yeah, I couldn't
Yeah.
get. Well, I mean, you could have went in and trimmed the trail, but
It would have took longer to go in with saws and cut a trail to get the bike
So
in.
you just pulled.
Yeah, actually, we grabbed.
we got it down there.
We gutted him down
Yeah.
there. Took
It
all.
was,
our-
and it was a double lung.
Oh, yeah? And
there
he
was-
went that far?
And when I rolled him over, the only blood there was like maybe
was
a
underneath
cup
him.
of blood.
Well, now they
underneath
say when you hit them lung shot, especially, that's when they go for the water.
it.
water.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And yeah, there was not even. We even followed the trail back out, looking like just to see if we could find more blood, and there was nothing. So we took our pictures, met up with a couple other buddies, come and met up with us, and when we ended up dragging him out, we grabbed 2 ratchet straps and just tied him around his back legs.
Who, Brody's or the Bears?
The bears.
Okay.
Yeah,
We were dragging
I was
along and
pr-
realized we pulled
'Cause the
Brody
nice thing
up
about
I
it
was
pulling off
pretty
the bear.
tired at this
Yeah.
point, so I could have been drug
It's like, well,
here,
first
too.
we'll get Brody up here, then we'll go back for the bear.
Because the nice thing
At
about
least
a
they got it
deer,
the right one.
you can grab them by their antlers and pull, but you don't
Well,
got that
unless you
luxury on
get
a
it
bear.
Yeah, and
This was all uphill.
I heard you grabbed them by the balls.
our
and
buddy
pulled
Logan
away.
probably pulled most of it.
No, don't give him that credit.
You just act like you're pulling
Yeah.
when you're pulling with somebody,
Yeah.
right? That that's how you do it. And you're like,
I was
"Man,
more or
sorry."
less there like for
Yeah.
moral support at that
And
point.
you shot it, right? Your
Yeah, I don't have
job
to
was
drag.
done, depending on how you
Yeah.
look at it, or you
Yeah.
should have done all the work.
Mm.
It depends who you're talking to.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, if people are coming out to help,
Yeah.
you don't want to be a jerk and not let them help, right?
Yeah, well, he
you
was
tell
there.
them, grab the ratchet straps and get hauling.
He knew what he was signed up for when he got the phone call. So
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you guys end up weighing it?
no,
You didn't.
it
weigh
never
it,
got
eh?
weighed. I don't
No,
think.
but we guessed he was. We guessed he was.
He was probably like 230.
Yeah.
Dressed.
No,
No, we
No.
guessed he
he
was.
wasn't a huge bear.
One.
That's
one-
not bad.
190 dress. We figured.
He
Like suit
had
and
quite a
tie,
bit of fat
dressed,
on.
or
He had quite a bit of fat on. It was getting late in the year, so
yeah, I suppose October. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. To be
Then we got-
hibernating.
so
That's
in
not
the spring.
bad.
In the spring, he would
Now,
have been a pretty
did you
small
eat 'em?
bear.
You did. And how
Yeah.
was he? I've never eaten fall bear before. Just spring.
That's good.
Spring- yeah, even with the fat and stuff.
You got to be a
You
little.
trim most of the
You
fat
trim it
off.
off.
It's just
Yeah.
more work when you're preparing it. Just cutting
You
the
cut the
silver.
fat.
The silver skin on it's a little thicker and greasier, but
The only thing with bear is you have to cook it all the way through.
Yep.
So you're not gonna
Yeah,
get
same as
your
pork.
nice medium
Yep.
rare. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. You just get a couple
You,
friends.
you could. I'd serve it to guests first, and then
Yeah.
if they do okay.
Guess that I don't want to see again. But
and then
That's right.
yeah, we got him out. Drug him out to the truck.
who? Brody.
The bear. So
Okay.
then we took the trucks over across the field
Mhm.
to go look for the bear that I shot
And
at.
you realized.
And oh no, there's part of the story I haven't even told you yet. So we
Well,
went over
do
and
tell.
it was thick. Like it was. We're looking for this bear in cattails. It's wet in there.
It's boggy. I had a
you're
bear
s-
bait in there.
You had
where-
bear bait in the swamp?
The year before.
spring,
The
the
spring
year
before. And it's
Oh,
wet.
yeah.
It's
And
wet.
honestly, it wasn't even a great bait site,
No. And
but it was
we
tough
went
to
in.
get to.
Couldn't find it. Same thing. We just did a quick grid search. Couldn't find it. And I just wrote it off as a miss.
Yeah.
And come to find out, I did hit it.
You
'Cause
did?
I found the bear that spring when I was shed hunting.
Really?
Like 40 yards away from his
So
bear.
the,
But
the second shot you figured.
I hit the second shot because I
the
went
first
in.
shot, he hunched up, but you didn't hit him.
No, I missed over top of his back.
Yeah.
The first shot because I
Yeah.
could see it. Then the second shot, when I thought I hit him,
Yeah.
I did.
But you guys looked nothing that.
Nothing. It was thick in there. In those cattails, you'd have to step on the bear to
And
find
you
it.
found
You've
a
never
win?
told me that.
And
No,
it-
I hadn't heard
When
that
did you
either.
tell me that?
when I went in to get your barrel because I went in shed
Ah.
hunting.
Well, I wouldn't have
And
told anybody. That's
his barrel-
embarrassing.
I went to I was butting up a new bear bait.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a barrel, and I knew his barrel was still ratchet strapped to the tree in there.
So you were going to take his barrel,
Yeah.
and Karma,
and I
there's
was
the
look-
bear that
I
you
was
hit
looking-
but couldn't
I
find.
was looking for some sheds.
Just a disclaimer. Everything in the story has been true up until this point. So
Okay.
let's continue on. Then.
Yes, Lane.
This is a true fact.
Is it? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
only
I didn't
confirmed by
see it.
Lane, though.
Denver-
You'd think you'd take a picture of that. But,
Denver was with me. I had the bear skull at the house,
oh, do you?
and
And it's
Tag
for
that
sure.
in?
It's for
No.
sure from
No.
your bear.
can't confirm.
Okay. Well.
But chances of a bear laying in the same woods where your one you shot went into, I don't know.
If there's that many bear in the field, though,
That's
other
true.
people might know that
They-
and they'd be shooting away.
It could have
Hey,
been.
so you did find it. Yeah, I,
I,
didn't
fa-
hear
I
this
found
part
I
either,
found a
Lane.
bear about 40, which it actually went a decent ways from where I shot. It would have been like 140 yards from where I shot,
Mhm.
where he traveled. I could smell it. I could still smell the
Decay.
decay when I was walking in.
It was how long after?
We shot. It was in October, and I found him in like March.
Mm.
Oh.
So he would have been frozen most of the winter. And
Yeah.
whatever was left of it, and then I found him in that spring when I was going in to get his barrel, look for sheds.
Did you ever look to see where you hit him?
Now there was nothing.
You couldn't. It's too far gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just a skeleton.
But you got the skull.
Was it? That might not have been your bear.
I don't know.
That's a lot of decay
I don't know.
in that
Yeah.
amount of time.
There's. If anybody
I'm
wants
not
to
gonna rule
email
it out.
us
There's a lot
and
of
add
know.
in,
and stuff.
give
but
their 2 cents on this.
I don't know.
Note Lane's
It just
bear.
I would think there'd at least be
Hit us up.
a big pile of hair. And
there was hair, but as far as like I could see the whole skeleton. Like I could see the outline. Like all the ribs were exposed.
You recognized his teeth.
No, not quite.
Scope wasn't on that. Time.
And it was about the same. For skull wise, it's about the same size as your bear.
so it's about the same size bear.
It's a 200-pound bear.
Actually, fun fact about my bear.
Sure.
Got the Euro mount done on
I
it.
forgot about that.
Okay. Yep.
And one of its canines were growing out of its nose.
Really?
Yeah, it was super strange.
We
Yeah, it is. Odd.
we had it in the
Yeah.
garage,
A
and I was
bear, right?
looking
I'll
at the
send you a picture of it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
looking at
yeah.
the teeth.
Huh.
I'm like, oh,
So you picked the right one. So there's like 8 confirmed, possibly 12 bear in the field, and you shot the one that had
That
a
one
messed up
canine.
canine.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was
it
weird.
was, it
Yeah.
was
I
don't
completely
know if-
missing.
I don't know if maybe it got damaged and just grew weird, or what the deal was with that.
Yeah, I don't know if it'd be a genetic thing or what. Yeah, it could have been damaged,
It's
right?
strange.
Yeah, I couldn't understand when I was cleaning the skull doing the Euro mount.
Mhm.
I was pressure washing out like the nasal cavity, and I could see something in there. Like I tried picking it out.
Yeah.
When I got it cleaned up, you could tell it was the tooth.
Huh.
Yeah, you could see it dead, clear as day, right through the nose.
Really? Yeah, that's different. I haven't
It's
seen a bear like
interesting.
that. Yeah,
I'd never seen anything like that.
No.
But I mean, that was my first bear
that's
too.
first
But
bear. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You thought
Maybe
maybe they all
teeth
looked
were
like
in
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even on the skull where the canine should have been,
Yep.
there was no hole, nothing.
Hmm.
There was no like cavity where the tooth should be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we just
that's neat.
assumed when I started it, it just didn't grow.
Yeah.
And then I found it in the nose. So I don't know what would have caused that.
yeah, I'm thinking just damage when it's
Mm.
growing it.
Mm.
Well, that's a good story, Brody. First bear.
And
First
now
bear.
it's on the
Nice.
wall.
Now I'm hooked on bear hunting.
Yeah,
A little
yeah,
different.
you like it.
I run the bait,
Yeah.
but didn't get one last year. But
You had a
this-
lot on camera though, didn't you? You
Um,
had some big
in
ones
the-
on camera.
In the 2 months of having my bait steady, I had like 23,000 pictures of bears.
23,000?
Yeah.
Mhm. In
I
2
put the
months.
Tacticam to work. It was
Yeah,
No
she was
way.
burning up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And you had what
That's a
confirmed?
lot of bait.
That you could tell there was what?
It was I was baiting every other day.
Yeah.
Like 100 pounds every other day with a bait.
Yeah,
Gee.
probably.
Lane was taking 50 of it.
And how many confirmed that you could tell? How many confirmed bears were at your bait?
Consistently a dozen,
Mm.
and there was probably 5 or 6 different bears that just strolled
Moving
through,
through.
Yeah.
And a couple moose.
and a couple. Yeah,
Because you had what?
a couple
Cow?
cows and a bull came through.
Did they touch anything at the bait, like donuts or anything?
No, they just walked through.
Really? No sweet tooth on them, eh?
No. And even at that time, they had, because there was some oats I put out, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
had sprouted, and
Oh, yeah.
they was sprouted all around. But
They
I guess the moose
they
didn't want
touch
any of
it.
that.
Oh, yeah.
So, no.
The bears eat them?
The bears are pawed up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like green
but
stuff.
they'll
right?
eat anything.
Yeah. Omnivores.
I'll be back. We'll both be back. And give you a story in the spring.
We're
Sounds
both
good.
we're both hunting that bait this spring.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
he's-
guys are sharing a bait this
Well-
year. I heard something about that.
Well, because we're both having kids this spring, I thought I'd let me a mooch and
Congratulations.
put a stand up.
Well, I just figure we're both going to be busy with newborns at home. Instead of both of us trying to keep 2 bait sites consistently stocked up with food,
One, and
there's enough bears at that bait that you and I could shoot a 350, 400-pound bear easy.
Yeah, and
Both of
thankfully
us.
it will only
You
be
got
20
some big
yards,
bears
so
like that.
Lane
There's
should be able
some
to hit it.
big bears in that area. Because you had, what, 4 or 5 that were well over 300 pounds?
I had a couple. We'll see in the spring.
yeah,
But I had a
yeah.
couple bears in there.
You had some big ones coming in.
That'll be exciting.
Maybe not that many. Maybe one bear that was over 300, but the rest were probably 100 pounds. So
Yeah, but they just need
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
big boar
Yeah.
come strutting in there, be over 400.
something like
That's good size black.
You saw
bear.
him a
Real
couple
good
times.
size.
that. I just don't want anybody in there.
Oh, you'd be all right. No one knows where you're at anyway.
I bait it too good. They know where it's at. So
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. But
some
that's
people do.
good. That's good. Your first bear. Next time.
That's exciting.
First bear and first podcast.
Yeah, first podcast.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.